If you're watching this video right now, there's a huge probability that you use one password or a few sets of passwords for all your online accounts, and honestly, that is a bad idea. It is not just enough these days to have a complex password string for your password. In the case of a hack or a breach, you'll be left vulnerable because you depend on a subset of passwords for all your accounts, and that means all your accounts are vulnerable. Take, for example, a breach that happened to Yahoo in 2013. It is recorded that 3 billion accounts were exposed. And can you see how, if your account was one of those, you would be vulnerable? So today we're going to talk about securing yourself, data privacy, and how you can stay safe in this online world. Our online interactions and identities matter so much these days. With multiple apps and platforms from banking to personal social media, it is really important you take serious about how your identity is protected and secure online. A survey conducted showed that more people are actually more concerned about being hacked than being robbed in their houses. And while nobody is 100% hack-proof, it actually does pay to secure yourself and take extra steps to make sure you're protected while online. So the first and the most crude step you could actually take to protecting yourself is by separating your concerns. So what that means is that you're having multiple emails, while one is more targeted towards serious stuff like banking and more sensitive data, the other is targeted towards more fun stuff or more non-serious stuff. You could even take this further by creating unique passwords for every service you have or you're on. Yeah, I know it's a lot of work, but it's one of the most simple and crude steps you could take to actually secure yourself and amping up just a little bit your security in the case of a hack. So to take this a bit further, you could use what we call password managers. And simply, a password manager is some sort of digital vault that encrypts and stores your passwords. And it also has a cool feature known as a password generator that helps you generate a string of characters to use as your password when you're signing on to any service. So bye-bye password memorization, and the only thing you need to remember is the core, or what we call the master password, that you need to log into these apps. Now, natively on your Android devices or your iOS devices, we have what we call the keychain for iOS and the Google Password Manager for Android devices. This also works across browsers like the Safari for the iOS and the Chrome on for Google. Now, what happens is that these are password managers at best, and they do the good work of storing your passwords, letting you know your password health, and actually letting you know if there is any sort of breach or hack that's happened to any of the services you're signed on to, which is a decent good job, and I think it does well. But if you want to take your protection even a step further, we have some paid and free options that are more dedicated password managers that also do the job, but they do it at a higher level. And the free option is known as Bitwarden, and the paid option is 1Password. These two actually take password management to a whole new level. It has some more pro features, including the watchtower and family sharing, where you're able to have a shared vault where you can actually share passwords with family members, things like Netflix, Hulu, Disney+. But they do the great job of actually just elevating your entire storage and password experience and ensuring you're protected above all. Now, in addition to password managers, we have what we call two-factor authentication. And what this simply does is add a second layer of authentication on top of your passwords to ensure that there is that second layer of protection, and it double confirms that you're the person trying to sign in or access an account. Two-factor authentication is really important, and I advise you to enable it wherever and on every application that has and supports two-factor authentication. There are very popular two-factor authentication apps, including the Google Authenticator, Authy, Microsoft Authenticator, to name a few. And literally the way it works is that when you log into your device, it sends a code to these apps, or it generates a token code in these apps and asks you to put them in. While text message is also a good way of having two-factor authentication, time and again, with security hacks that have been proven not to be so efficient. So I advise you actually use an app as an authenticator for your two-factor than using or relying on just text messaging. Now, enabling two-factor authentication is an okay level of protecting yourself online, because you now have not just a password to depend on, but a second layer of authentication. Now, to take your security to an even higher level, we have what we call physical authentication keys. I have some of these keys from the good guys at Google as part of the advanced protection plan, and basically these are USB, Bluetooth, and NFC keys that allow you to authenticate into your devices just like you would have a physical key to enter your house. Now, this is not necessarily targeted at everyone. I'm a developer, I know how important my online account is, and this makes sense for me. But they are more targeted towards political people, journalists, media houses, and anyone who may be susceptible to consistent hacking attacks, But the way they work is, instead of a two-factor authentication system, you enable this across your devices. This is a better way against phishing attacks, because here you don't have any token for a two-factor authentication. The key is the second factor authentication. You plug it into your computer, or you click a button here and it pairs with your mobile device and you're authenticated into your accounts. You can buy these online on Amazon. Google sells this is from Google. You can get them from the Google store as well. But basically, Google employees have been using this for a while, and it's a way to physically confirm your authentication by a physical key. And for me, I have one keyed up to my car key, and the second one is a backup key kept out there. And you've got to be really careful with this, because they're like your physical house keys. If they get missing, you really have to get another one, or reach out to the companies where you have your accounts linked to them, and they will have to help you with some sort of verification to get you back into your accounts. So it is a next level protection plan, but it is also requires some sort of responsibility, because they are physical keys and they can get missing. Now, here are other cool ways in which you could actually protect yourself and keep yourself safe online. Number one, just update your apps. Developers are constantly fighting hackers to be able to protect you from all sorts of intrusions, and hackers are constantly trying to find new ways to be able to get into your accounts. There's a phrase we use in the development space where we say performance improvements and bug fixes when we release new versions of applications. And it's actually true. There are always new security patches and always new ways to protect you from hackers. So always make sure your apps are updated. Secondly, never give your information to a website that is not secure. Always look for the padlock sign that says this website is secure, because it's very easy for you to give your information to someone who's seeking to use it to hurt you. Now, thirdly, be very careful and always investigate links before clicking on them, especially links to websites that you're not familiar with, because this could be a phishing attack. Now, a phishing attack is simply when a hacker provides a deceptive link to trick you into providing your sensitive information, which they could use to then hack you. So always be careful and investigate links before you visit them. And thirdly, please stop answering stupid questions on the internet. Questions like your first name and your last name plus your date of birth and your favorite color is equal to your rapper name. All are used to build up profiles against you and makes you a very easy target for a hacker. And also, please stop putting private information like your bank number and your BVN and any other sensitive bank information because of a giveaway. And finally, please be very careful with how you share sensitive data online. Private data should remain private. Private information should remain private. Do not share everything online. I hope with this few points of mine I haven't confused you, but indeed I've convinced you why it is important to secure yourself in this online age and protect yourself against hackers. Like I said earlier, no one is 100% hack-proof, but you can take these steps to ensure that you're adequately protected and prevented from the possibility of a simple hack and attack. Stay safe. See you next time. Cheers.